The Honourable Paseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my privilege and pleasure to give the final speech on this, the third and final reading of the Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill number 3. This bill, sir, will bring down the costs of building new homes. This bill, sir, will improve housing affordability. And this bill, sir, will provide more effective local government services. And may I first thank the Select Committee, which was ably chaired by now the Honourable Nicky Wagner. And the committee wrestled, sir, with some difficult issues, and I believe their multi-party approach brought about some useful amendments to the bill that we have tabled tonight. I also salute the officials from the Department of Internal Affairs as well as other government departments who contributed to the progress of the bill. Sir, while my name is on this bill, I recognise that many other ministers played a role in advancing the bill, including the Honourable Chris Tremaine and the Honourable Nick Smith. Local government touches each and every one of us, sir, and we are a set of communities who are passionate about our neighbourhoods. And I want to thank the 120 submitters on this bill who presented some strong thoughts and ideas. They played a vital role in influencing the final bill as read tonight. Mr. Speaker, local government reforms were needed to make sure that all public services are delivered in a cost-effective and efficient manner. This bill will reform the Local Government Act 2002 to encourage and facilitate improvements in how local government operates. My constituents in Maunga-Kia demand this, and I know, going around the country listening to residents and ratepayers, that this is important to all New Zealanders. By supporting councils to operate more effectively, we help build a more competitive and productive economy. By doing that, we're able to increase jobs and opportunities and allow New Zealanders to live and prosper independent of the state. By doing that, we improve the delivery of better public services. And by doing that, we improve housing affordability. And with housing pressures on the rise, Mr. Speaker, even more focus is needed to make sure that all the costs of building new homes are kept under control and minimised. There is no easy way to do this, but there is a way. And this is part of a suite of measures to improve housing affordability. And these measures are done alongside increasing land supply, removing tariffs on building materials, implementing special housing areas, and one day, sir, reforming the RMA. Everyone, including councils, need to work differently to collectively deliver the savings to help make houses more affordable. Mr. Speaker, when development contributions were introduced in 2002, it was another decade before they were reviewed. This government had the courage to make the hard decisions to make the development contribution scheme fairer, more balanced and more transparent. It does this by introducing new purpose and principles provisions. This bill, Mr. Speaker, takes the difficult but necessary task of changing the landscape for the way local councils work to a better way of working. The changes include encouraging more collaboration between councils so that they can more easily share services. This will save time, energy and costs for councils around our nation. Mr. Speaker, the changes provide flexible consultation processes between councils and stakeholders. Consultation is still required, but councils can choose the best approach appropriate for the circumstances. This will allow the right approach for the right matters at hand, and this improves the effectiveness of decision-making, consultation and engagement. Mr. Speaker, the bill narrows the definition of community infrastructure. It avoids inappropriate charging and improves fairness. Developers should only pay for the necessary infrastructure for their developments. This will provide transparency for the council, fairness for the developer, and ultimately less cost for the home buyer. The home buyer, the ratepayer, the community, sir, they are at the heart of what is critical in this bill. And that is why I stand here compelled to tell you that this bill is ultimately about people. Mr. Speaker, every day I get a new letter asking me about local government issues. People are passionate about their children, their families, their communities, and ultimately their homes. In New Zealand, we need to build council infrastructure to a standard that supports the current and future needs of New Zealand's communities. That means making decisions for the long term with careful financial management. For this, future-focused and prudent management of council-owned community infrastructure is critical. Council-owned infrastructure can often have a lifespan over 50 years, and the current 10-year long-term plan requirements provide an inadequate time horizon to manage many of the assets owned by our communities. And that is why this bill introduces a requirement for a 30-year infrastructure strategy to provide for the prudent management of those assets. There is a need for decision makers and the public to have a good overview of the key infrastructure issues and options to make informed decisions. The Select Committee took on board Council's suggestions to improve the proposed infrastructure strategy. The amended provisions in the bill anticipate the 30-year infrastructure strategy will focus on each of the first 10 years and then the remaining 20 years in 5-year blocks. And this will allow councils to think ahead, to game plan for likely scenarios. It does this without imposing an unnecessary administration burden on councils by requiring detailed year-by-year financial and circumstantial estimates. The increased focus on long-term planning means decisions about local infrastructure will be timely, considered, and will lead to better short, medium and long-term outcomes. You see, Mr. Speaker, good strategic planning is an important ingredient in the success of any organisation, and local government reform is needed to make sure that all public services are delivered in a cost-effective manner. The Local Government Amendment Bill is needed to ensure we are continuously improving our local body systems and services. The implementation of this bill and what lies ahead will ensure that we are doing the best we can for the benefit of every New Zealander. Mr. Speaker, we have heard from people who want the best for their families, their communities, and ultimately our country. Mr. Speaker, this bill will help Council to meet the fundamental needs of our changing communities now and into the future. So I am proud of this bill and I commend it to the House.
Members, this debate has concluded. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. A party vote's been called for. I'll ask the clerk for the order. Votes are taken in silence.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
Opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 opposed.
Mana.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan. Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 94, the noes are 24. The motion is agreed to.
Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill number 3, third reading.
Call on Government Order of the Day number 4.
Veterans Support Bill, third reading.